All right, this is me.
Perfect.
Hello. This is probably a nice segue from wine to a place you might drink wine, which is events. My name is Riley Ramone, and I built a business without quitting my day job. I'm a web developer by trade. Do we have a lot of technical founders in the room? Stick your hand in the air if you're a technical founder. If you're the other side, if you're the businessy side, if you've got brains for sales and stuff, okay, couple, good. So, I mean, obviously it's possible to develop a load of stuff, but finding a market for it, that's the tricky stuff, and sometimes you need both parts of your brain, or you can just have a lot of time and build it up. So I was going to say that Ticketlab is one of the oldest startups, but this week I saw a talk from a guy saying that his startup was 40 years old. So I haven't got anything on that. It's been going for about 13 years now, which is old in start terms. And it started out with gigs in libraries. Who likes going to gigs? 1, 2, 8, 12, something like that. Who's been to a gig in a library? No one. Always silence. You've been to a gig in a library?
There was like a cinema event in the library in my borough, and then afterwards you go into the town hall area, town square area, and there's like a concert.
Amazing. Which borough?
Waltham Forest.
Waltham Forest. Excellent. Good choice. I'm up in Walthamstow too. So is this gentleman. So we started out with using libraries. Back out in the mists of time, I met my future wife when I was working at an advertising agency, and she'd volunteered at Lancaster Library with doing gigs in libraries. She'd helped them out when she was at university and said, hey, how can I help you guys out? Because I love gigs and I want to go to more gigs for free. So if you can make that happen, that'd be great. And so when we met, she was still helping them out, and she was uploading these gigs to these ticketing platforms, and it was clunky and it didn't really work very well. So when we got together, and we were sort of like, okay, well, what can we do? We started working together on these things. I was then uploading the gigs and encountered all these same issues. So we then sort of said, like, all right, we need to go to the pub and we need to like work out what it is that we need to solve when we're doing these things. And number one was the excessive fees. Back in the day, you had to print out your tickets, and that wasn't great, but what also wasn't great was that they were charging you £2.50 to print out your own tickets, which was very odd, because previously they were charging you to send them to you. So we said, oh, that's rubbish, let's get rid of that. When we were uploading these gigs, we had to fill in all these forms, had to go through like a 6-8 step process to get to where we wanted to. That was rubbish, let's get rid of that. And then if something went wrong, it was impossible to get hold of anyone. And if you've ever had anything go wrong with an event that you've ever been to, you probably will know what I'm talking about. It is impossible to find customer support for any of the sort of other ticketing companies out there. So we said, all right, let's do this. Let's have the fair fees, do the streamlined setup. We'll have actual humans doing the support. There are some big problems here in that, like, if you're going to have humans as the support and it's only kind of 2 of you, what do you do? And that's where we sort of start to try and automate things, and you try and make things as streamlined as possible. So, the other thing that we did out in the small print here, I'll move out the way for those in the cheap seats. We've got anti-tout protection. This was something that we thought would be important because every other day in the news you see about Oasis, or I've just bought my Chemical Romance tickets for 250 quid for Friday, and I'm very sad about the fact that I spent so much, but I'm not sad about the fact I'm going. But the touts are making a lot of money on this. And so we said, okay, well, if we put people's names on the tickets, that sort of solves it. It's up to the venue to sort of verify that. Obviously, they're scannable, QR codes, all that stuff. That's turned out to be less important as time has gone on due to the sort of niche that we found. So, building for your first client. Are you all here launched, looking to launch? Have we got launched startups here? Have we got like pre-launch, just sort of getting ready to go? Yeah. Are we sort of just thinking about the startup, or yeah, kind of, yeah, okay, cool. So this might be useful for your first client. We had our first client lined up. We had this Ticketlab and libraries. We were able to say to them, we've got issues creating these events. It's slow, it's rubbish, your customers aren't enjoying it either. If we built something, would you use it? And they said, absolutely. So I spent a year then outside of my sort of day job as working in this advertising agency. At lunch times, I'd go around to the Pret and sit there on my laptop and sort of do things and try and release stuff. It took a full year, and then I launched it. And then at that time, then our client, Ticketlab and Libraries, they ran out of funding. And you know, it just took too long. A year is a long time to wait in the digital world. So then we sort of, normally once you've got your client, you've got your product, and you've got your product market fit and all that stuff, you then go and attract more clients. But we had to sort of move on to that straight away. We had to say, all right, who can we get in? And actually, as it happened, our first gig was another gig in a library, Westminster Reference Library, which is just south of here on the other side of Leicester Square. We'd had a couple of gigs there. They weren't official Ticketlab and Libraries gigs, but we knew them. We were able to say, hey, we've got ticketing. It's better, it's nicer. Do you guys want to use it? And they thankfully said yes. And from there, we were able to then start adapting. We started going out in Waltham Forest and saying, hey, community events, comedy shows, things like that. And we had then a bit of a base. So when Ticketlab and Libraries then did come back and they got their funding, we were then ready to go. And they had a gig with Tim Burgess, who is the lead singer of a band called The Charlatans. He did a big gig, big sellout at Lancaster Library. And our software was then ready, and it all went very nicely. But it was sort of lucky that we'd had this sort of messing around, because that was a big gig, and it did move very fast. So that was cool. It all worked out for the best. So we were asked sort of putting together this presentation, what like a big surprise was. And really, when I was sort of building this up on the side, I was going like, all right, well, like, you know, I'm not a marketing guy. I'm not going to really push it that hard. I don't have the means, the resources, the knowledge, the capacity to actually go out and sell it. We sort of kind of grew it through SEO and word of mouth. We had a little bit of kind of growth through that. But a couple of years ago, when I'd left the advertising agency I was on originally, I'd worked for another couple of companies, I'd gone freelance, I'd eventually ended up working at another startup that I was a co-founder for. We sold that startup I was working for to an American company, and they said, hey, we're Americans, we've got loads of money. And then they didn't pay us for a full year, which really sucked. So actually where I was sort of, Ticketlab was helping people to run their own side hustles. It was yoga classes, it's forest schools, it's gigs, it's people who aren't necessarily doing this full time. They want something that is easy to use and cheap and quick, and they can get their events out there and they can start creating these sort of small side businesses. What I wasn't expecting was that I would actually then have to rely fully on Ticketlab to actually like pay the bills. And I mean, it still doesn't bring in, you know, like a full-time salary, but it was enough just to sort of squeak through, which is kind of all we needed. And for that, like, I'm like, that's cool. Like, Ticketlab, I think, has given me a lot of things, like, aside from the cash in this sort of quite tricky time, for the people who sort of have been running their startups for a while, you'll know that you have to develop so many new skills that you never thought you'd ever have or need to do that. And so quite a lot of the jobs that I've had and got since starting Ticketlab have been based off of the skills that I've acquired. Now I work at John Lewis full-time as a senior staff engineer, whatever that means. And so many of the things that I come across day to day are possible and inspired by the things that I've already tried out in my own startup by sort of just having a go and just seeing what happens. And that's cool. That's very cool. So what have I learned? So growth engines. This is something that you'll need if you're going down this route. We had the search engine optimization. I'm a web developer. This was built into the sort of base of the markup. It was much easier 11, 12 years ago to actually get onto Google by having the right keywords. Now, there's a lot more noise. There's a lot of AI-generated content pages. There's stuff going on. The other thing that we did early on was we said on our tickets, hey, if you're setting up your own events, then use Ticketlab. And so we see events kind of crop up in the same areas. So we'll get like a little flurry of events in Glasgow or Manchester. And that's nice. That's cool. But it'd be great to see more of those. I wish I'd have done more earlier. We've just launched an affiliate scheme, and having that 5 years ago might have been very useful. But obviously, only doing it part-time, that's only really possible now because we've got AI coding and I can actually roll out features much faster than I used to. So, you know, have a chat to your AI about how you can get those sort of leads and funnels and growth engines going, so that you can sort of push it forward. Get help sooner, delegate. Yeah, I kind of do like having control over the thing, but there is only one of me. And Bex, my wife, she helps out with the support side of things. She answers a lot of emails. But I mean, for the most part, I'm sort of designing, building, support, accounts, whatever else. Having that somebody else doing that would be cool. That'd be good. If you can pull somebody in, get them inspired by what it is that your mission is, get them for cheap, then that'd be great. Also, stay focused on the next goal. It's a lot of startups kind of, they don't launch straight away because you're like, oh, I need to get it perfect. But actually, it's just about that next feature and getting that out there. I'm embroiled in some trademark dispute with some American company now because, like, I was like, oh, it'd be good to get the trademark in the US. It's not important, and now I'm stuck having to think about these things. So, like, just take the thing that's in front of you, the thing that's going to make the most difference to your business, and like push that forward. And that's basically it. That's all I've got. Thank you very much.
Thank you.